All right, what's up, everybody? Ryan Murphy, Murphy Baseball Performance. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm at the office doing work because you got to get it every single day, man. It's an obsession. I can't stop thinking about it. I want to get better at it every day. I want to help you get better at it every day because if you're not trying to shoot for the gold medal, what are you doing? You get one shot at this life. Everybody wants to be great. Only way you're going to be great is with being obsessed. You don't expect everybody else to want it as bad as you want it, and don't expect anybody to want it for you and be able to make it happen. You got to want it. So let's talk about this. If you think about the way that people grow, okay? There's a lot of science and studies that discuss this M word. Myelin, okay? Myelin. Now, if you check out Myelin, and the first place I heard about this was in Daniel Coyle's Talent Code, fantastic book. Myelin is white matter in your brain that we have more of at a younger age, right? Think about brain plasticity and pliability. That's why you talk about young kids are a sponge. It's because their brains are still being formed and developed, right? But even at an older age, and they'll tell you, I think it's like into your late 30s, you can still develop myelin. Fuck that. You can develop it forever, okay, if you really want to. That's my attitude. And why would you want to think any different? So myelin is white matter that makes these tiny wraps. So think about every time you're on a sales call and you're able to slow the game down, and instead of word vomiting all over the prospect, you're able to back up, take a deep breath, and ask a question, and then ask another question. Okay? Every time that happens, you're wrapping that circuit a little bit tighter, and the more you practice it, and the more that you're deliberate about it, the more that you're going to be able to walk into situations that you don't know about, like walking into a boardroom, being totally caught off guard, but being able to slow the game down enough to move the meeting in the direction that you want to move it in. That's a skill that has got to be developed. Yes, there is innate talent involved, no doubt about it. Some people are inherently more equipped to be able to handle something like that, but you can still develop it, just like velocity. All right, for those who don't know, for those who do, I want to tell you again because I'm proud of it. 78 miles an hour is where I started at age 19, peak. All right, 94 miles an hour, those are my pull down peaks, okay? Meaning running, outfield throw, bang, all right? 92 miles an hour on the mound, 76 miles an hour on the mound. Those are where I started, all right? I was 19 years old. Everybody told me, oh, Ryan, you're never gonna be able to do this. Don't move to Texas from Maine. You're taking too big of a risk. You're never gonna be able to throw 90. Oh, it was a mixture of them laughing at me, but then them wanting to go, oh, but hey, come on over here, right? And then when it actually happened, everyone's like, whoa, dude, that's pretty cool, man. Oh, you can throw 90, but now that you've thrown 90, you're going to get hurt. I had everybody tell me this. Well, I talked to my coach, the same coach, by the way, that told him, yeah, your buddy's never going to be able to throw 90. So first, when I got that confirmation with him, oh, hey, thanks for the advice, pal. Oh, great. Your coach doesn't think I can throw 90? Great. Like everybody else in my life. Then when I get to 90, it's, oh, well, bro, my coach said that you're never going to be able to stay healthy if throwing 90 because, okay. Well, I haven't had any arm surgeries. It continues to get a little bit better each day, and I guess the guy was wrong. So when we talk about myelin, what is myelin? It's just a little white matter. Every time you do something, it wraps a little bit tighter. The way that we develop talent is called chunking, a process called chunking, okay? So we're gonna break down, what this means is we're gonna break down the component parts of the delivery, let's use pitching, and so we're gonna have arm action. We're gonna have glove side. We're gonna have back leg, front leg, rotation. You go on and on and on, right? And everybody says it a little bit different, but those are just some components that you'll hear me use, that you'll hear our guys use. Okay? So now, Are we gonna try to solve this entire equation at one time? No, that'd be stupid. We're gonna pick one area, keep it simple, stupid. We're gonna focus on one area, and we're gonna try to identify the area that's got the most bang for its buck opportunity. So here's what I mean. If you are a guy like me, and when I was throwing 76 miles an hour, my arm was stiff and didn't lay back at all, right? Didn't lay back at all. Literally, like, I believe I watched it on video, and the first time I really realized it was at the ranch, Texas baseball ranch where I trained at. Trevor Bauer watching video with me, he goes, dude, your arm doesn't like lay back at all. And I'm like, oh, that's why they told me I was throwing with like a cast on. Oh, got you, okay. That sucks. All right, so for me, I was running around in circles trying to get everything fixed. What I really should have been doing was, again, chunking. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You try to eat the whole elephant, this process is not gonna be fun for you. All right, so let's identify my number one thing I should have been focusing on was arm action, okay? So, then how do we break that down into its component parts? And again, keeping our mind on myelin. So I've got my arm action over here. Let's call it arm action A. That's where I'm at today. And then over here is arm action B. This is my ideal arm action, which I may or may not even fully comprehend as I'm looking to improve and as I'm working chunking. So for me, external rotation of the shoulder was a challenge. So again, we can start to take some characteristics of shoulder ER. So I've now become obsessed with strategies to open up the tight musculature, the soft tissue that's inhibiting my ability to lay back. I start opening up my lats, my subscapularis, my pec minors, my traps with soft tissue work. It's hard, but it's something that I just shoot to get a little bit better at every day. So that's one component of this arm action. The other component, now that we're talking, that would be a physical constraint that I'm lifting. Okay. Now, how is my stability? Maybe I've got an unstable shoulder. Maybe I've got to work some external rotation stuff because I've got to get more rotator cuff stability. Maybe I have to learn to relax my lat into launch. Okay. So part of it is, yes, opening it up with soft tissue work, but the other part is this. You can't just open it up and then think that it's going to take care of itself. Delayed transmutation is what I'd put in that category, and I just haven't found that to work well, as well as chunking. So hey, now it's like, hey, we're going to, again, we're hyper-focused on arm action. So now, hey, what does arm action that's efficient look like? And who can I steal from, right? The best people steal from other people. Which pitcher, which thrower that I look at that's been healthy, that's thrown hard for a long time, can I steal from, okay? And who are the experts and how do I get the information so I can start working through and applying and figuring out what's gonna help me myelinate this arm action chunk of the circuit to the extent that I can go from having shitty arm action A to world-class arm action B, because I wanna be world-class, all right? And so you're gonna have to step outside the realm of normal to be able to achieve something like this, because guess what the rest of the world is going to tell you? You're stuck with arm action A, you can't change it. All these big league guys, hey, you can't change it, right? Like, bullshit. They can't change it, and they chalk it up to, oh, well, he just wasn't talented. Because they never actually wanted to peel back the layers to understand how you could impact something like this. Back to it. Sorry for the rant. So now, shoulder external rotation. Maybe, if you're like me, you also, if we talk about late launch, a term that was coined by Ron Wolforth when I was out there training at the ranch, if late launch is being able to aggressively drive my shoulder all the way through the target, and early launch is letting the shoulder stop right here and banging out, crushing my medial forearm, late launch is something I want. So now, I'm getting specific. Now I'm looking at what I'm going to call the driveline phase. That's how driveline baseball got their name, okay? Driveline phase. When my hips and my shoulders are fully separated, I'm bearing weight. From here to launch, am I able to apply force in a straight line? How well? Am I able to lay it back and be shoulder dominant and accelerate my shoulder all the way through? How is my capacity to be able to perform that movement first at a low speed with some overloaded implements. So here's what I'm talking about. Again, chunking. Part of this process is we need to illuminate the brain to help it understand what we're trying to accomplish. Because if a 5-ounce baseball, I'm 19 years old, a 5-ounce baseball, I haven't figured out how to throw it efficiently yet. If I just stick with that modality and I don't do anything else to stimulate a different learning environment to help me with enhanced kinesthetic awareness, aka feel, I'm never going to be able to solve this challenge. I can't just stand on the mound and keep throwing and praying. That's not a plan. So now, what am I going to do? I'm going to implement. It's time to get weird, all right? You got to go places less traditional sometimes to find the best shit. So wrist weights, 10-pound wrist weights. That's an overloaded implement. That's going to give you a totally different feel. Pick up a 10-pound wrist weight and put it on your hand and tell me that you don't all of a sudden start paying a little bit more attention to what your lat's doing, what your subscap's doing, where your forearm is in relationship to your shoulder and your wrist as it drives out into pronation, right? Supination versus pronation, all these different things, like overly activating the traps. You put a 10-pound weight up there, you're going to start to feel some of that stuff. So again, point is, I'm going to go different places. So wrist weights is going to be one thing I might use. I'm going to pick a specific drill. So pivot pickoffs, designed specifically for this, to isolate the upper half. So I'm going to stand wrong-footed right here, and depending on how advanced I am, I got this from Driveline, I'm going to take my hand, like I'm slapping the back of my head, and the first part of it is, I'm just going to work this. Okay, I'm going to start to understand, how does this right here, from here into launch, can I execute that well? Okay, once I can execute that, I'm looking to get a little bit more outside my comfort zone. Now we're talking deliberate practice, all right? Which is, guess what? The fuel that helps the myelin wrap and grow, okay? Now this is not, again, you want to be great? Don't expect other people to want to do this with you. Study of world-class performers found that the difference between the top tier of the world class versus people who are still in the world class, people at the highest level, but not considered to be top tier, like think like a difference between an everyday outfielder versus a perennial all-star, 5 times more practice by the perennial all-star alone. Not overall volume of practice. Both people have practiced essentially the same amount. But the all-star has spent X amount more time alone, because alone is where you learn how to fire these circuits and rewire your brain to move from arm action A to arm action B, and you do that through practicing something specific. You have a plan, okay? You're going internal, you're going external. You're stopping. You're stopping when you make a mistake. You're not just going to blow through a mistake. Because if you're just blowing through a mistake, these circuit wraps are going to be garbage. You might as well go back. You're going to be stuck at pattern A. Okay? Here's the other thing. You're going to give this time to evolve before you move on to the next thing. Or you end up paralyzed because you haven't even mastered this portion of the chunking yet, and you're already trying to jump into the next thing. Be patient and persistent with it. Master it. So a progression might look like this. Okay, I know I want to get to arm action B. Again, I've identified arm action in the hierarchy is my #1 constraint. I am going to carve out time, deliberate practice. I'm going to carve out a 90-minute session. All right? That session, I'm going to make sure that I've got game plan for soft tissue work that's going to improve my ability to externally rotate at the shoulder. Okay? I'm going to add in some band activation work. I might add in some overloaded implement training like 2-pound balls, 4-pound balls, some things that are going to help me get more external rotation. Light massage long toss on the extension phase. Jaeger long toss is going to be a part of this program. I'm going to go after stimulating the arm action and the layback as many different ways as I can to get the ultimate effect of transformative change that leads to this new arm action. How long does it take? I don't have a crystal ball. 21 days to create a habit, minimum. 30 days, you'll hear that number 2. I would say that it's all about progression in your training, meaning this. If you can do it first, execute it well in a drill with a 10-pound wrist weight, boom. Now, maybe we're ready to go from a 10-pound wrist weight to a 2-pound overload ball. Okay, boom, check the box, looks good. and we keep progressing it down, when we get to an underload ball and we can really replicate this at high speed, right? I can replicate it at high speed. It feels clean, it looks clean. All right, now I'm ready to blend it over to the mound. And guess what? I might go to the mound and it doesn't blend over. Okay, let me go back to the last stage that I was successful at, get back into that feel, right? Maybe go back to like a 7-ounce ball in the pivot pickoff. Okay, 7-ouncer, let me feel a couple of these. Boom, boom. And now maybe I take the 7-ouncer up onto the mound. Boom, okay? How does it transfer? How does it carry over? 5-ounce. And again, you're gonna get it in practice before you're gonna get it in the game. That's why this is a long-term play, and that's why if you're not a genetic 1%er, if you're not a guy that's already at the elite levels of throwing hard safe, to the extent that you can be safe, by the way, a little secret, don't worry about imbalances and don't worry about, you are gonna have arm pain, you are gonna have imbalances if you wanna chase 95 or 100 miles an hour. No way around it. No way around it. Otherwise, you're never gonna be able to create the type of stress adaptation that's required to change your specimen, to change your being from wherever you're throwing right now to what you wanna be throwing to get to that goal of playing at a high level. All right? So again, to review concepts, myelin is the king of developing talent. Okay? Can speed up your circuit. If we think about the circuitry we're talking about is, let's say we're talking about from handbrake to launch, boom, you can speed that up, that circuit up to 300% over where you started at, okay? And that fiber keeps wrapping tighter and tighter so that there's less impulse leak, all right? Now we develop this high quality circuit. Why do most people not make this happen? Because it takes a ton of time. It takes 10,000 hours minimum of deliberate practice, okay, is what Anders Ericsson discovered in his study of world-class performers. I'm way past 10,000 just in my own performance training, and I'll tell you what, I still got a long way to go. Like I said, 94 on a pull down. I mean, it's better, but it's still not world-class, all right? My goal is 110. Crazy, right? That make you laugh? I hope so, or I hope it made you uncomfortable. Because if your goals aren't big enough, we'll get to that, that's another section, but if your goals aren't big enough, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not gonna have the energy it's gonna take. If you got small goals, how are you gonna take action for 10,000 hours? Reasonable goals are for reasonable average people. You can't be reasonable if you wanna be great, okay? You can't. You gotta be totally unreasonable. People gotta think you're scary and dangerous. So you're gonna have to put in the time to develop the myelin. Let's chunk things out. Let's break the overall process. Throwing and pitching is what's considered a hard skill, right? So it's repetitive, especially pitching. You're going to be doing the same thing every single time, for the most part, with some little deviations or variances, but you got to chunk it into its component parts, and you've got to identify, what is my number one constraint right now? You always got to be, Ron Wolforth used to tell us, hey, if you want a better answer, ask a better question. What is my number one constraint right now? That's a good question to ask. And then you pick, okay, arm action. Now specifically, arm action A, this is my status quo arm action. What does that look like today? Arm action B, this is what I'm looking for, okay? I need more of this, more shoulder external rotation. How am I gonna achieve that? And then you start to make a plan. The plan's never gonna be perfect. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Just take action now, adapt and adjust, all right? If you want to be world class, if you want to change your outcome, if you want to take something to a level that you never even maybe imagined you could take it to in the game of baseball, come see us at Murphy Baseball Performance. We're the last people on the planet that are going to tell you that you can't achieve something. We are going to be very honest about the fact that if you want to play at the highest level, or if you've got a specific goal, we're gonna be real with you about what the work's gonna take. We're gonna do all the baseline assessments to figure out where are you at versus where you need to be, and then we're gonna help you with this process. We're gonna help you with understanding this process, because I toiled for 10 years training it, okay? I still don't have it mastered. I've been training guys for 8 years now, and I still don't have that part mastered either. It's constantly evolving. We're constantly filtering through the newest information and applying it ourselves to figure out how we can give you the hack, quote unquote, right? But it's not really gonna be a hack, because it's gotta be time, obsession. You're gonna have pain, struggles. How bad do you want it? Thanks for checking in. Please like, share, ask questions.